Welcome back to another AQ World Infinity video. We're going to be covering the design notes of AQ World Infinity. Let's get started. Tuesday, I met with Ghost and Tunic on the dialogue system as a team continued work on the things posted above, which I covered in a previous video. The newest feature that was being tested involved the customizable easing in our cutscenes motion. What is easing? It just means to start slow and goes fast, or the opposite. It's an extremely important tool for animators to control how motion looks. Today we tested out the new easing feature Tunic added. Easing is nothing revolutionary. Flash does these sort of things since 1998. Unity has a built-in ease curve tool feature. When we went to build out our own custom one, we knew it would let us have the same sort of control that Flash did, except we do not have a timeline. So, this got interesting fast. When Ghost asked for highly customizable easing that he could control at every level, oh boy, did Tunic give him what he asked for. See the part circled in red below, so this is right down here. As you know, there are many possible correct ways to solve a problem. This one presented a chilling level of control and complexity. By manually changing these values, Ghost can control the easing and speed with great detail, but it is complicated. And I'm not going to go into all this detail because it's going to get a bit too technical, and I know that several people have mentioned this does not interest them, so I'll skip this. If you guys do want me to cover the entire thing in detail, you can let me know. To anyone wondering why we're not using Unity's built-in animation systems for our cutscenes, we sort of are. But in order to load our dynamically built hero, use monsters from the database, and even start art assets from the map you're currently in, we decided to build this custom solution. What is really powerful about this is these new cutscenes are not giant movie files or asset bundles filled with duplicate art like the current game does. These animations are simply text, position, and animation data which is stored in the database, which means we can fix a cutscene live without needing to upload any files. Extra important since we now need to cloud build all files for each device and roll for each platform. Wednesday. The tricky part of these daily updates is that they're always from my point of view. I see the others in the voice chats working on their things, but unlike the days where we were all in the lab together, I can't simply walk around and check on everyone and see what they're doing. Not today. First, weapon panel. Here was the first design from Diagon. So you can see an item with a long name. Here's a layout with it. Get the base weapon enhancements. And then over here you've got a warrior class, rank 10. All little details regarding it. Looks really good, but we could make it even better. The enhancement is the source of all the item's powers. So the box with the enhancements, which is right there, should contain all of the damage, stats, and power things. Also, that line that separates the item preview from the text is nice, but given how little space we have and how long weapon descriptions will be, you will almost always be forced to scroll. So what if we got rid of that line? Look how clear it is now. And if you look at the one on the right, you can see the Diagon color-coded the entire enhancement thing. So this thing has been color-coded. That would be the power equivalent of rare. Oh, because it's blue. I get it. Now, if we could just move the item icon to the top center to make everything aligned, also would be nice if those damage numbers were bigger. Dun, 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 dun. This is looking promising. It could use the glow behind the weapon to make it pop, and so you can see any black parts, but this is definitely the right direction. Meanwhile, Bloodrut progress continues. We ran into a pretty bizarre problem with Ghost rearranging the first frame of Bloodrut's map. We had to pull in J6, Warlick, Zoom, and a bunch of other devs to diagnose it. The issue is related to our bookends for wide maps. Let's just say you're on a really wide monitor. Look at this insane length of... That's huge. That is a really wide monitor. The map is supposed to fade to black and cover any of the extra bits on the edges. You're not supposed to see the edges of the map that are sticking out, which would be right here, but you can see it. So they're going to fade that away. Warlick built a better system. Does work no matter how much we mangle screens in a map. On that note, we should probably have a max width for the UI for ultra wide screens. You would have to move your mouse a long way to press your inventory if it ran like this. It'd be click, and then you gotta go over here, click. That would be crazy. So there's a layout with a nice glow. Diagon sent a version with the glow. Nice. That looks really cool. Meanwhile, the Dialogger is still getting the feature added or changed. We'll see how it looks along with the new combat stats or states tomorrow. See you then. And then that was Wednesday. This is Thursday of last week. Spider, Yomi, Immortal Joe, and I met on Thursday to sync on the progress of Infinity's combat, power, and progression. We covered a lot today, and I'm not even sure where to begin. So there's a gif of him fighting. In Infinity, items will drop with power already assigned to them. You'll be able to improve this power a number of different ways, from drops, shops, trade skills, and other players. We briefly talked about the new system in previous posts. Items are split very cleanly between art and power. We feel it is important to be able to look and play the way you want. It's also important that the game has a fun progression system, which gives you the freedom to try different strategies with your classes. This is what we dug deep into today, with a lot of spreadsheets. I find the ETS math way easier to follow than the things we've done previously. As a result of today's meeting, Yomi needs to make more changes to the database and server. It is a little bit nerve-wracking that we need to make these alterations to the live AQ Worlds database. Both games run on the same database. Whoa! Which makes sense. Both games need access to your character's data. To make it possible to increase your weapons, power, and stats, we needed quite a few extra fields added to the biggest table in the database. We were hoping to have been in some sort of testing today, but this is worth taking an extra week to finish. I know this update has been too Reader Digesty, but it's also 12:30 a.m. Time to wrap up and get some Z's. See you tomorrow. So Friday, woohoo, Friday. Today was a fun day. Warlick came over to my place with his laptop. We worked on Infinity, drank coffee, and hung out together. Ghost spent the day ripping through the new Bloodrut cutscenes. Reens implemented the new writing from Silas and improved the flow of the first floor. Spider is close to wrapping up the first phase of Monster AI, but it's going to get some new melee and attack formula nodes in for Immortal Joe. That way, Joe can start applying the new stat systems to the classes. The biggest win of this week was the new stats system. Getting at Immortal Joe, Spider, Yomi, and I all on the same page and working towards the same combat functionality was critically important for the project. All in all, I'm feeling good about the progress this week, but I'll be generally anxious until the next test is ready for you to play. Monday. So this is going to be covering yesterday's post. Our full team meeting was pretty intense. Everyone is pushing to complete the game features and content for the next test. So here's a little layout. You got Lurkle, the Ghost Moglin, and then some of the options he has. Here's what everyone was up to. Spider fixed a ton of bugs from the stat system changes with the Skill Forge changes and the Monster AI. Nolgath is continuing monster animations for Bloodrut and Cheryl Valley. Hydra featured below. Silas just finished the Bloodrut rewrites for rooms 3 and 4, focusing on AQ World until it is ready for testing. Reens, Bloodrut levels 1 and 2 have the new quests, working on a major quest bug with Warlick and then redoing 3 and 4. Tunic, major changes to the cutscene editor last week. Testing movement with Ghost, then moving into Asset Bundle Selector. Ghost, cutscenes for Bloodrut. J6, continuing backgrounds and maps. Yomi, a few more database and server changes for new stat and power system resulting from last Thursday's meeting. Immortal Joe, waiting on the node editor updates, then implementing the new stats for Warrior First. Diagon, adding accordion menus to the Skill Forge for Spider, then working on implementing in-game weapon previews. Warlick fix quest bugs with Reens, then continue working on the Cloud Builder. Zoom is involved in all coding activities, helping Tunic with the Asset Bundle Chooser solution, and Artix is involved in all content activities, get everything finished and ready for the next tech demo. And there's the animations on the Hydra. That is looking so cool. Hydra, how you doing? Nolgath sent in this freshly animated Hydra this morning. We read the animation thread on Reddit and sort of liked the debate over the new animation versus the old. You probably do not know this, but I hate Unity animation. I love that old school 24 frames per second flash animation. Felt like anime. So if Unity's ultra smooth 240 frames per second just looks a little off to you, then no, you are not alone. While the animators are using techniques to get that action and pop that our previous game's animation had, it is unmistakably different. I do appreciate that some people said they like it better. They said we were no longer limited to the lag and performance issues of Flash. That is true. The world definitely feels more alive when you can walk around the game. The one thing that really matters to me is that we did not hire some random third-party company in another country to reanimate our stuff. The same people who originally animated AQ Worlds came onto this project and are here creating these new animations. I appreciate that a lot. Ouch! My eyes! So you can see the big giant it. Large monsters can have their hit flashes disabled, but if your eyes can handle looking at that atrocity of flashing, you'll quickly notice that it is not the monster that is flashing, but the smoke cloud that appears when they die. This is because the flash effect is currently impacting all the monsters' sprites, which is the art, even the ones that are supposed to be invisible. So we're going to try solving this by tagging the part of the monsters that are supposed to flash when hit. Also, it'll be possible to toggle off the flash so it does not happen at all. VTubing. Okay, that look at his eyes right here. Look, what the frig is that? Oh man. So last week, Despair and I tried doing a multiplayer VTuber thing. It worked pretty good. Might be a fun to try doing a daily update like this. That's not quite worded properly. Is this something you would enjoy? What could possibly go wrong? In the GIF above, Despair is using one of the default avatars. As I wrote this, we are in voice chat looking at how to convert her character art and the other team members. Kickstarter. In other random and intentionally mysterious news, it seems Kickstarter has no problem whatsoever with our video game doing the unusual thing I want to do, which is great, because as my late father often told me, if you're going to mess up, you might as well mess up big. Paraphrased. So, as of today, I am officially green-lighting the creation of our AQ World Infinity Kickstarter. The only rule is that a sustainable alpha needs to be ready to launch right after the Kickstarter ends, just like we did with AQ3D. That really only gives us 2 windows to do it, which is either summer, which is too long to wait, or we do an absolute stellar job in the next test, which I would prefer, spring break. Woo! So the pressure's on. When do you think would be a better time to do it? On the plus side, it looks like we are getting a Kickstarter with an interesting spin on it. So really not sure what to expect from that. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.